Okay, students, now we're going to do the last part, which is part E, which is 5 over x squared minus 4. So let me go to the blank white screen. So the function is y equals 5 over x squared minus 4. Now we have x squared, not x minus 4, x squared. Now I'm going to show you what x squared looks like. First of all, you got to make sure that the denominator is never equal to 0, because again, if in any case you got 5 over 0, you're done. Okay, we don't know what's 5 over 0, so you're going to have a huge math error, and we don't want math errors in our question. So let's exclude the values of x that make the denominator equal to 0. Please listen carefully, students. Let's exclude the values of x that make the denominator equal to 0. Okay, and in order to do that, I take the denominator and write does not equal to 0, just like this. X squared, look what I do, minus 4 does not equal to 0. So this is a perfect, this is a difference between two squares. So basically this is x squared minus 2 squared does not equal to 0. So I open two brackets. I know some students are going to solve it, let's say plus 4, then radical to both sides. We're going to do it both ways so that you're familiar. Does not equal to 0. So I'm going to write x minus 2. And in the other bracket, I guess you guessed it right, x plus 2. So now it's a big OR question, so it's x minus 2 does not equal to 0. Okay, big OR. I'm going to erase this, I'm just writing it so that you see x plus 2 does not equal to 0. So we have two values of x that should not be in our domain, which are the asymptotes. So let me just plus minus 2. There you go. Because this is plus 2 to become positive 2, and this is minus 2 minus 2, you're going to get a minus 2. So these are the first two asymptotes that's going to be excluded from my graph. So if I do my graph like this, okay, this is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. And now let me change colors to do the asymptote. The first asymptote is at x does not equal to minus 2, which is here. Okay, and the other one here at x equals to 2. So this is minus 2, and this is plus 2. There we go. Now the graph, when you have x squared in the denominator, students, okay, now because we don't have an x in the numerator, right, x squared in the numerator, if there is x squared in the numerator, you take the coefficient of the x's in the numerator and the denominator, and you divide them by each other, you get the horizontal asymptote, exactly like what we did in question part D of the same question. But because the power or x squared in the denominator and there's no x in the numerator, so the horizontal asymptote immediately, okay, is y equals to 0. That's the horizontal asymptote. So no graph crosses the x-axis. Now, look, the graph, when you have x squared, okay, the graph of x squared, let me graph it somewhere clear. Look, so first of all, we have two asymptotes. It should be like this, and then like this, or the other way around. That's how these graphs are. So you gotta memorize them, or like this. This is the x-axis, suppose, and these are the asymptotes. You gotta be like this, and like this. This is the graph of x squared. So how do I know which one of them? Is this, or is it the opposite? This is the opposite. Please memorize this. This is all to be memorized. Is it the one in red, I mean in pink, or the one in blue? How do I know? You know by substitution. Okay, the best way to do is by substitution if you want to memorize. So let me take a value between -2 and 2. Let me take 1 and see what I put. If I take 1 here, instead of x squared, I put 1. So 1 squared is 1. 1 minus 4 is so it's negative. That means the graph is down. So I'm going to take this. Because it's negative, the graph is going to be down. It's going to be like this. And خلاص, by default, the rest is like this. These are the graphs. This is the graph. Make sure take a value greater than 2. You're going to notice that it's positive. Take, for example, 10. 10 squared is 100. Move 4 from 100. It's 96. So 5 over. So it is here in this area, and the same thing here. Right? So here we have, two asymptotes. Okay, the vertical. For the vertical asymptotes, we have at x equals -2 and at x equals 2. This is the graph. Okay, let's go to Desmos to graph the function so that you see it. So we have, let me clear this out. So you have 5 over x squared minus 4. There we go. Okay, so let me remove this, okay, and make this bigger. Look, students, there we go. Hide asymptotes, as you can see. Okay, let me write the asymptotes and sort them. So you have x equals -2, and under it, x equals to 2. See? As I told you before, so the horizontal asymptote is the x-axis, or when y is equals to 0, because see the graph in black does not cross the x-axis. You tell me, no, it does. No, it does not. Look here, it gets so close, but the screen, it has to show you that it keeps on getting closer and closer, okay, to it, but it doesn't touch it, right? And the same thing with this one, right here. Look, you see, so it is below the x-axis, and these are the vertical asymptotes. Okay, we're done. Let me know, Tulab, your understanding of these 5 questions. They are so important. They are the fundamentals of this section, so you need to memorize them and understand them pretty well. Okay, let's open at the mark scheme so that you see the mark scheme. Look at the mark scheme. So the mark scheme for the last one, x equals plus or -2, as we said earlier, and y equals to 0, and the previous one, y equals to 3 and x equals to 1, and so on. Okay, so let me know, Tulab, if you understand this question, and if you have any comment, you can go down at the end of this section and post your comments. Okay, thank you for watching.